With this Omicron now spreading like wildfire, CCISD saying virtual is not an option due to a lack of funding. What? It's like this Omicron spreading. There's a lot of school districts that are going to that have a lot of funding, and they decide to go to virtual learning. Not CCISD. According to a spokeswoman in the district, CCISD does not have funding to send students back. On Friday, the district reported more than 800 positive cases for students in the first week and 661 positive employee cases. The director of communications said currently the district does not have funding to return to virtual learning. Leanne Lindy said, we know, schools across the country and being in class is the best we want for our kids, so we're going to stay flexible, work with our families, keep them in there. They plan to continue vaccine and testing clinics for kids and adults. But that's not with the cases of in Oasis County. 5.88 plus 63,017, 78,326 plus 155. That's for the state. The Oasis County, 81,391 plus 1339. 43.1% tests have been taken. Over 800 positive tests have been taken, and 1.8 million tests have been taken. 26,000 people in ICU. Over 150 people are hospitalized. 69% have had at least one dose, which is 20 million, and 16.9 million are fully vaccinated, which is 58%. We've got to get vaccinated. This Omicron is spreading like wildfire, and if we don't do something fast, I mean, what we're sure to do is go back to square one. And frankly, I don't want to see people go back to square one here at this point. What do I mean by square one? Like we did during the 2020-21 school year last year. Mandating masks. Mandating masks and having a
to us
and going hybrid. But the person with the health district hopes, but people see hope. The health officials sees hope as COVID-19 cases numbers start to decline. It's because people are getting vaccinated. I need you guys to be vaccinated. If you're not going to be vaccinated, it's your choice. Excuse me. But still, CCISD continues to monitor. Not only we're also going to look at Flower Bluff, we're also going to look at the data for Corpus Christi. For the week of January, there's been 0 cases for the week of January 24th. That's for the whole week. I mean, campus total for Carroll 297, 105. That's like almost at 5,600. For the staff, it's like 476.7, and the year to date, that's like over 4,800. So again, we need to make sure that we're being vaccinated at all times. If we're not vaccinated, we're going right back to square one. And I personally don't want to see people complain that that oh, this, that, and the other. I understand that people and everybody here wants to go and do whatever they want. I mean, everyone wants to be safe. And people are scared of the vaccine. But things need to happen. You need to make sure you're vaccinated. Masks, extremely very important. Social distancing, hand washing. If you're riding transportation, you have to do the same thing. If you're in a tube, no masks. If you have a medical condition, you need to let them know beforehand. So they can understand. We need to fight this thing. We gotta get vaccinated. If we don't get vaccinated, we're back to square one. And I hate to go back to square one. Alright, next, there was another school threat, this time in New York City. And yes, I've been covering school threats, and it's happening every day, every week. 1 to 4 weeks. There's another threat happening. And I hate to be reporting this because I want to report on other things, but this always gets my attention. This was from the New York Post. We'll look at that letter. Look at that when we return. There's now another threat in our schools. This time, it's from New York. From a Catholic school. A Queens Catholic high school was locked down for over a week after bomb threats were made on social media, according to church officials and cops. This was from the Instagram post. Tomorrow, January 14th, I will plant 5 different bombs across the school in lockers. I might put a nail bomb near the dean so I can kill all them blankers. Read one threat in an overnight series of since deleted Instagram posts. One post carried a chilling caption, "The day that everyone would feel my pain." The post individually tagged several students at St. Francis Prep, a 2,500 student school in Fresh Meadows. Another post said, "Since the school has gay blanks supporting LGBTQ+, I will kill them all tomorrow. Blanking hate the blanks and Christians at school. The old blanker dying first and all the students in my class. I've already made up my mind. The thoughts won't go away. None of you guys took me seriously last time. You cannot stop me. It will happen." The poster was at someone named Harrigan33. He claimed to be a student. Officials did not confirm that. The principal said a law enforcement investigation, including, found no credible threat. He shared a message with the commander of NYPD's 10th Precinct Deputy Inspector Kevin Shane, which said the following: exhaustive search of the school. No dangerous devices whatsoever been found. However, the school building remained closed to students during the week with classes held remotely, according to John Craglin, a rep for the Brooklyn League, which includes Queens. But the investigation is still ongoing. Like every time there's a threat, like every day, you go to school and you expect to be safe. And this time there's another threat. This time it's being sent to a grand jury from LondonNow.com. Following January 19th preliminary hearing in London County District Court, the case against the 18-year-old and Fairfax County resident charged with making threats towards the Ashburn Middle School in December was sent to a grand jury for review. Shane Lucas is charged with making threats of bodily injury or death to person on school property, a Class 6 felony. He was cited by investigators by the source of December 7th. A social media post that included a photo of a firearm and threatening statements toward the middle school. During the hearing, school principal and the sheriff's office and digital forensics examiner Christie testified about the events that day. The attorneys then appealed the denial to circuit court on January 13th. Then was denied the bond. The second time a bond request Lucas was denied district court at the circuit court levels. The lawyer said Lucas was shooting from Farmville during his 6th, 7th, and 8th grade years. The hearing was held for a week after the attorney joined with Lucas's attorney for the public defender's office in seeking to have him released on a bond so his family could move him to a residential treatment program. But that was denied. At home, a laptop, tablet computer, 2 cell phones, and a SIM card were among the items collected. Using the passcode provided by Lucas, Karen opened his iPhone and found a photo of the weapon that matched the one used to tweet web searches for images of the weapon. Also on the phone was access to the Twitter account used to post the threat. The principal put the school on lockdown for anyone from entering or exiting, and worked with the school division's public information office to put out an alert to the school's community. Now us adults, at a school board meeting on Friday, a woman was charged for a gun threat at a local board meeting. It was a video at a school board meeting where a parent said she will bring every single gun loaded and ready. If her children would have to wear masks in school, let it charges the woman and increased police presence at the division school Friday and Monday. At 7 p.m. Friday, the police department announced it charged Amelia Reffner King of Laura with making an official threat while on school property. It's a Class 1 misdemeanor. The masquerade released King on a $5,000 unsecured bond. But then she later emailed the school and apologized for the actions, in which was read during the meeting by the school board member Amy Painter. She said, "I in no way meant to imply all guns loaded as in actual firearms, but rather all resources. I can muster and make sure that my children get to attend school without mask. My sincere apologies for my poor choice of words." But the police department said in a statement, it along with the county sheriff's office and the Page County Commonwealth attorney were investigating the incident, and King's cooperating with the law officials. But King continued, "Alright, no mask mandates. My children will not come to school on Monday with a mask on, alright? It's not happening. I will bring every single gun loaded and ready." That's what the video said. King has 3 minutes. You've gone past your time. The school official sets policy. Thank you. And the video is said, "I'll see you on Monday." But any executive order signed last week, Youngkin said mask mandates in schools are proven ineffective and impractical, and parents should have the ability to decide whether their child should wear a mask for the school that day. The Mage County Board voted 4-2 to approve the parent choice. If you think for a second that we take this lightly as a board, you're 100% wrong. But the board began the meeting on Monday in a closed session to consult with its lawyer about the masking legalities, as previously reported. Harrisonburg City Public Schools announced this week that masks will continue to be required for all students, staff, and visitors on school grounds. School officials across the Commonwealth have discussed there will be for the executive order, which has already been met with a lawsuit from a group of parents from Cheapsake asking the Supreme Court of Virginia to block the order going into effect. The other districts have planned to keep the existing mask mandates going in place, at least temporarily, because of a state law passed in 2021. Doesn't matter if you apologize. You still threaten the safety. You threaten board members. If I threaten my board member and they apologize and they send me to jail, I would say, yes, I made the threat. As school shootings rise again with threats back in the classrooms, area schools should have they evaluate threats. It's like you see something, you say something, you have to report it. But according to that lawsuit from Oxford, They didn't do anything. It's like the principals, the superintendent says it's false. Like I said on Friday, you're the one that knew about it. You had to make sure this doesn't happen again. We're back in a moment. Look, with all these shootings and gun violence happening, here are the 16 facts about gun violence. 1. Each day, 8 children die from gun violence in America. Another 32 are shot and injured. Guns are the leading cause of death among American children and teens. 1 out of 10 gun deaths are 19 or younger. Firearm deaths occur at a rate more than 3 times higher than drownings. That's number 3. Number 4. The U.S. has had over 1,300 school shootings since 1970. And these numbers are increasing. 80% of school shootings have taken place since the tragedy of Sandy Hook Elementary in December 2012. In a comprehensive study of school shootings from 1974 to 2000 conducted by the Secret Service and Department of Education, 93% of school shooters planned the attack in advance, which is something compared to 66%. Tell at least one or more people where they're going to do it and when they're going to do it. And 80% of them do the same thing. Number 6. In 4 out of 5 shootings, at least one of the persons had the knowledge the attacker's plan but failed to report it. Guns used in about 68% of related gun incidents at schools are taken from the home, a friend, or relative. And it's in the case of the Oxford. A study found that 77% of active shooters spend a week or longer planning their attacks. That's number 8. Number 9. Nearly all mass attackers in 2018 made threatening or concerning communications, and more than 75 excited concern from others prior to carrying the attacks. In almost every documented case threat to shooters, warning signs were shown. In 2018 had the most school shootings on the record, but the U.S. Department of Homeland Security research shows that if we know the signs of gun violence, we can prevent and reverse the trend. Number 12. The majority of individuals with diagnosed mental illness do not engage in violence against others. 70% of people who die by suicide tell someone their plans or give some type of warning signs. 39% of parents wrongly believe children don't know where a gun is stored. And an estimated 4.6 million American children live at home where at least one gun is kept loaded and unlocked. And in 17 states have enacted the extreme risk laws, the majority of being implemented by following the school shooting and a majority at Stoneman Douglas High School in 2018. But there are more statistics out there. By this year there was only one shooting. And according to the number of K-12 shootings, look at this graph. Here's a graph describing it. Here's a graph describing it. 1970, 20 non-active shooters. There was no active shooters then. 75, 2 active shooters. In 80, 3 active shooters. 85, 5 active shooters. 90, 2. 91, only 1. 92, only 2. 93, there was only 4. And the same thing, 94. 95, same thing. 96 were 2, 4, 97, 8 and 98, there were 4 active shooters, non-active shooters 24, 6 active shooters, non-active shooters in 16, 2000 were 23 and 6. The numbers go high. 51, 40 non-active shooters, 32, 30, 8 in 2010 with 7 active shooters. In 2014, there were 4 active shooters, but 42 non-active shooters. And this year, non-active shooters 240, but active shooters were 9. But as of December, there were 249 shootings. I mean, this year was only 1. Education Week did an article about this. I mean, saying there were a lot of school shootings. I mean, there's a K through 12 database, and if you look at this database or look at the charts, incidents for the year, I mean, 249 active shooters, and in this year there were non-active shooters, which were 11. Victims per year, in 1970 there were 8 killed. It goes up. The highest one three minor injuries, no injuries. I mean, the shooters acted for solution, like students 43%, 19% for no relation, 16% for unknown. I mean, this pie chart will explain explains a lot. Teachers, I don't know why teachers have to be involved in this. And it's also the cause of video games here. The outcome: 37% fled, while 27% apprehended, and 27% fled and escaped. In the time period, it's like the highest one for morning classes, 18%. Sport event, afternoon classes, lowest ever is at a school event for 44. Situation is escalation basically by 37.1%. And here's a map. And if you were to look at this data, here's a map. Oh, it's in the spreadsheet. Oh, in the spreadsheet. Well, if you were to look at all of this in this data, 92. I mean, look at all this. There's lots of them in Texas. Fatalities. There were a lot of them. I mean, but things have to change. If we don't do something about this, then chances are we basically have to go back to square one. A lot of states have this. Back in a moment. Monday, we continue to look at gun violence in our schools. What can be done? We'll tell you about that on Monday. That's all. If it's Digital Give Me Break Saturday going to Sunday, we'll see you again for Give Me Break Monday. Follow us here at YouTube. Have a good night.